and guiding her now that she makes the right decisions as a kid, even as a kid. I'm still in my son to have the confidence that okay, you can do this when you go out into the world.
Welcome to the Breakthrough Podcast with your host, Reba, a podcast motivated to help survivors of trauma heal and focus on their full potential.
Welcome back to another edition of the Breakthrough Podcast. Of course, I am your host, Reba, and if you viewing YouTube, thank you, because that's where I want most of my listeners at. But if you have the audio, then that's fine too. First of all, I don't know how long this podcast is gonna be because I lost a lot of weight. Whatever. I don't know how long this podcast is gonna be because there is a lot to have to discuss today, and that's on my heart, and that's been on my heart. I was not here for the month of April, and I did that on purpose. Hopefully, you can hear me better. I did that on purpose only because it was some mental stuff I'm going through that I had to take a break. I don't know if most people understand, but recording a podcast is more of a mental thing. It's a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's more of a mental thing, meaning you have to have a topic that you want to talk about. And for my podcast, I don't just get on here and just talk about anything. Some things just come up as I'm talking, but most of the stuff is inspired by God telling me what needs to be talked about. I use my own testimonies to help others to try to understand life, circumstances, trauma, uh, things that we go through on a daily basis. And I use my testimonies and my stories to help other people. With that being said, of course, we're going to talk about why I took the month off of April, but it is May 1st if you're watching this, so I am excited to just be back. Now, truthfully, I am only coming back for the month of May. I decided during the month of April, while I was taking my time away, that June, July, August, I need to just take off because there's a lot of things that I'm trying to focus on. We'll get into that a little later. But there's a lot of things I'm trying to focus on, and recording the podcast, no matter how much I love it and I love doing it and I love being here, it takes a lot of time because you have to set out time to do this. Like right now, I am getting ready. I took off work today because both my kids had dentist appointments. So my daughter is in the living room, but my son is at school. I have to pick him up. And as I'm getting ready, because I have a interview, that's why I'm gonna be on here around like 10:30 before the dentist appointment. I'm like, okay, I got to set the time to be on here. That's what podcasting is. You have to be diligent in doing it. A lot of people say they want to do podcasts, but if you don't have the time and you're not diligent in doing it, and then you're not just getting on there rambling, because sometimes I do ramble, but things just come to my head as I start talking. Um, Talking about something that's informational, something that's educational, something that's impactful for your listeners, then it's not going to be a powerful podcast. I'm happy that I've been able to successfully do this for the last three years consistently, and I love doing it. So it's something that I love doing. I don't see myself not doing it, but when it's time for me to take a break, I will take a break. And I think with everything that I got going on for the summer and a kid, my we're gonna get into that. My son. I just need to take this time away. Now that means that it's gonna be a lot of content that I'm have when the fall start back, because of course I still will have content that I'm doing for things that I'm doing in my everyday life to share with you. So with that being said, we're going to get right into the podcast. This podcast is talking about a lot of things, but the one I want to start about is why I took the time off in April. I took the time off in April, one, because mentally I was going through a lot. but also me finding out that I am perimenopausal. Now, most people don't know what perimenopause is. If you're listening, most guys don't know. And perimenopause, it was always around, but now it's a bigger thing. It is the onset of menopause, right before you completely stop having a menstruation cycle for women. That's what it is. The things that happen in perimenopause, because you can have early stages of it. I found out in the month of April that I have been going through perimenopause for the last 7 years, which is crazy. I am 41. It can start early. Um, and I kind of knew my body and knew something was going on within the last 7 years, but still, um, it's like full blown now, and I'm at the age where perimenopause actually does start in your 40s. So, like I said, I'm 41. And for the month of April, it was just hitting me like a bricks, and I said, "This is something that people don't talk about. That I need to talk about." So I went on TikTok, and I've been doing a lot of research on it and everything else. But I was on TikTok, um, and for the month of April too, we're gonna talk about that. But real quickly, I had deleted my social medias. I think except for TikTok and what's the called? TikTok, of course, YouTube. I'm not deleting, but TikTok and Snapchat that really don't do anything on there, so they're really not no big thing. But all my Instagrams and Facebook stuff like that, it's just too much. And the stuff that's on there, I just deleted it. I just needed a mental away, step away. It's just way too much. So with that being said, if you don't see me, if you actually listen to my podcast and you don't see me on there, I'm not going to be on there. I don't know when I'm going to return. I said I was going to do it for 3 months until June, but I kind of been liking not being on there. It's been actually making me focus on other stuff. So I probably won't be back. I'll probably deactivate my page, but I don't know. I'm not for sure about it. But with that being said, like I said, so I did a lot of research on perimenopause after me getting diagnosed with perimenopause. And I'm like, why is this not talked about enough? Well, usually when you go to the doctor and you tell them the symptoms or the signs of what you're going through, and some of the symptoms, everybody is different. I've been having hot flashes for a while. So yeah, the last 7 years I've been having hot flashes. Everybody always talk about the hot flashes during menopause. I can actually deal with it more than when I'm dealing with the other stuff. So the mood swings, the attitude changes, the being irritable or irritated out of nowhere just catches you off guard. The emotions, it's your period on hormones 10 times. Okay, the brain fogginess, the forgetfulness, the it's it's just a lot. It kind of feels like a psychological thing happening with you, if I can explain it in that way. And you kind of feel like what I explained to other people, you're going crazy. And when you feel like that, it's 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 not a good thing. But there are natural supplements. There are supplements that you can take to counteract these things. I started doing research or whatever, and the supplements was kind of expensive out of my budget that I found. But I found some that a little bit cheaper at Walgreens, and I've been taking those, and I promise you, it has been a big difference. I've been taking it since spring break. I had spring break last week, so I've been taking them for over a week now. Um, and I promise you, it has been a big difference because I feel like my normal self. Before I was just, and I'm telling you, it's not a good feeling. Um, I'd rather just go through the menopause, the ending of, but they say that that's bad. Whatever. With that all being said, sometimes as a woman or as a person, regardless if you're going through menopause or you're going through anything, sometimes you do got to just take a step back and reevaluate you. Um, it affects hair loss. So like the middle of my hair was breaking off, and my best friend couldn't realize why my hair was breaking off. We thought it was because of the color, but the rest of the color is fine. Everywhere else it was just the middle. Found out it could do that, and so and the dry skin, and oh, the worst one to me besides the mood swings and stuff is the itchy. skin and feeling like something's crawling on you. Y'all can have that. Y'all can have that. Oh no, no. Let's not talk about that one. When I realized what was wrong, when something really was wrong, wrong. I sleep very well. Let me tell you something. I get in the bed and I go to sleep in less than 5 minutes. Well, I want to go to sleep, I'm going to sleep. That part. The night up all night, or finally when you get sleep, you're waking up at 3, 4 in the morning and you can't go to sleep. And I'm talking about you waking up till you're wide awoke. Like, why am I up? And just laying there. And you're up. Yeah, that's when I realized. That was truthfully, that is when I realized. Because everything else I could have dealt with. Um, it also, because I eat so healthily, whatever you want to say, healthy. Uh, my appetite and my regimen for eating, my lifestyle for eating is pretty healthy. Okay. Um, but it does counteract that, to tell you the truth. If you are eating unhealthy, it will, because I did notice certain things that I was eating out of the blue that my body wasn't used to. First of all, if your body's so used to doing something and you do it out of the blue, it's going to counteract and do something else. But with perimenopause, your appetite plays a big role. Now, they say that you gain weight with it too. I haven't gained weight. I'm still losing weight because I kind of work out or whatever. Not kind of work out, but I kind of work out. But my thing is, I do more walking than working out, because I believe walking been helping me more than uh, working out itself. I work out to build muscle, so whatever. But it was the sleepy, the up all night thinking, overthinking. Oh goodness! It was one day. This is when I just couldn't take no more. I woke up for work, and I get up at work from work at 5 in the morning. I'm usually up at 4, but I'm up at 4 because I pray. Do my devotion. I do not get out the bed before I tell the Lord thank you for another day. So I pray and I do all my meditation and everything else. I get up at the bed at 5, regardless. And I walk to the kitchen, and I walk to the living room, and I walk to my bedroom. And I literally couldn't remember what I was in there for, like what I was doing. My brain was so clogged and foggy that I was like, this has to stop. That day, I ended up taking off work and literally just sitting on my couch. Kids went to school, and I end up literally sitting on my couch, just sitting there. And then I realized that I started being irritated. I started like sitting there like, you mad, and you don't even know why you mad. You just irritated. You just antsy. You just aggravated. Is that aggravation? And I said, nah, something wrong. Either I'm going crazy, I have some psychological thing that's going on, or I need to counteract this. And that's when I found out, or whatever. And so I am taking my supplements, and then they have been helping. Now I feel like my normal calm self. But that was part of it. And that's why I said I needed to take a break, because I need to find out what's going on with me. And then sometimes we need to take a break from social media, whatever. And with everything that's going on in this crazy world, and this new president, old president, and everything that's going on, um, sometimes you need to just step back. Also, I needed to step back because I need to spiritually, for me, get into with God more. And it has been such an enlightening moment. It has been an enlightening experience. I have been watching The Chosen. If you haven't seen The Chosen, I know a lot of people seen it at the movies, because I think the new series came through the movies. But two of my friends at work told me about it, so I've been watching it on Netflix. And it has been just eye-opening and amazing. Now, you hear about Jesus' life story and everything else, but just watching it and experiencing it, what scripture was what, and then I'm having my scripture like, oh my God, I promise you, every episode has made me cry, because it just I think about my relationship with God, and I think about everything that Jesus went through up until his time, and It wasn't that he was doing it for himself. He was doing it for us. Okay. But I also think about everything I'm going through right now, and that God knows I'm going through, and he's by my side and never left my side. And that, you know, the miracles of God and the miracles of him just being there and just loving us just because, oh, I'm about to cry now. I'm not going to cry. But it brings tears to my eyes because it's just thinking about God's love and how we supposed to love others regardless of what they do to us, truthfully, for us. Um, I think people take the form of love in a different way where it's got to do some with action, and it's not. God's love is unconditional, so it doesn't matter what you do or don't do, he's still gonna love you regardless. And the thing is, he shows you that he loves you regardless, and that's what I love about it. And The Chosen, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I promise you it will change your life. So I've been deep diving into my word, deep diving into getting to know who I am. This year, I had decided to do a lot of things for me, to step back and just make decisions for me and not make decisions because people telling me to do them, or make decisions because I feel like somebody else will like that decision. And I stepped back and did a lot of healing, doing a healing work, and I'm still doing healing work for me, um, because there are things I desire and I need in my life right now, and I can't do it without God. Number one, but I also can't do it if I'm doing it for somebody else, because it's not no satisfaction and no glorification in it. If I'm just doing it because what if somebody else is gonna say? I think a lot of times we do that in our lives, that we make decisions, we take jobs, we take careers, we and I was talking to my son about this to get to that point. He's getting ready to embark on college. He went to his college tour last week on spring break. And, I'm talking to him about all the things he want to do. And right now, of course, he's a junior in high school. He has a lot of things he want to do. He's all over the place, which is very, very normal. But I'm trying to get him to understand that regardless of what you choose, that's money, one, that you got to pay back if you don't get the scholarships. Because he is applying for scholarships, truthfully. He's a great kid. But when you got to pay back money that you get a degree for, and with the way this world is working, it's a lot of things about degrees that are it's not even getting validation when after you go to college. So I'm just wanting him to make the right decisions and navigating that. And that's another reason why I stepped back too, because I have to navigate being a mother of a young man, raising a young man, trying to help him navigate who he is and understand that regardless of what life circumstances and situations, regardless of what happens, God is always going to be on your side. And if you don't ask God first about your decisions in your life, nothing is going to go right. And that's just the truth. I've been there, done that. And I want him to understand that God is the head of all things. And when you ask him to order your steps and your decisions that you make for life, even if he only 17. I don't care. He could not make a lot of mistakes that I did make, that I made. He could stop from making a lot of mistakes, because I wish I had the relationship with God that I have now, that I wouldn't did a lot of things. I wouldn't did a lot of things in my life, because I would have asked God to order my steps to the point of fact of 41. And I know who I am. I'm in my field. I'm in my career. I got 2 degrees, and I'm where I want to be. But truthfully, am I where I want to be? No, because financially, I did some things where I want to make some decisions for myself now, instead of making decisions for everybody else. And then financially, I'm not truthfully where I want to be. But it's not all about finances. It's about what I truthfully desire to do at the end of the day. And like I explained to him yesterday, I told him, with all the things that you want to do, because there's a lot, and they all over the place. But if someone still was to walk up to me, and I use this example and say, Reba, I need you to talk to this 500,000 people in this audience about how to overcome domestic violence, and you only got 5 minutes to prepare, or you have no minutes to prepare. Our last guest speaker, um, talk. canceled it at the last minute, and I need you to go talk to this audience, and I need you to help people heal, and they need da 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 da. I can get up there and do it because it's something I'm passionate about. I could talk about how to heal from trauma, childhood trauma. I could talk about how to heal from domestic violence. I could talk, you get what I'm saying? So when I'm telling him, like, do something that you want to do, that you feel like that is a help. I think we teach our kids college. You got to college, get a degree, get a degree. I'm not teaching my son that. I believe in degrees. I believe in college. But I'm not telling him just to get a degree, just to have one. Because there's a lot of people that's not even in their career fields that went back into the workforce with the degree they got and working for somebody else. And nothing wrong with somebody else, but they're not even working in a career field that they work for. You're a manager at CVS, but you got a degree in criminal justice. The two don't add up, okay? You do have to have a season where you got to do what you got to do, but not coming out of college. Maybe that's not what you really wanted to do. So what I'm trying to do is counteract things that he's thinking of what he want to do, what he think other people want him to do, to what are you really passionate about? What do you really? And they used to always say passion don't pay money, but yes, it does. Because I feel like this: if you're doing something that you enjoy doing, desire doing, passionate about doing, it doesn't feel like work. You don't have to feel like you coming home from a swamp job and like, oh my God. Like my job right now, I am a reading intervention specialist. People love that I do that or whatever. And so, but I love what I do. I love that I can help kids that's on lower levels get the inspiration and get the confidence that they need to read. Reading is a part of our lives. That's an everyday thing. You can't read an application, you can't get a job. You can't read a book, you can't read. That's a big thing. So it is a big experience. And because we would just went through a whole pandemic of kids missing and missing out on their education and everything that went on, we are behind the ball. This government, this state, not this just the state, but this government and this United States are behind the ball on reading. So I love what I do. My job is not hard. My job is not, it pays well, but it's not hard. It don't pay big money, don't get me wrong, but it pays well enough. And it's not hard, but it's not also stressful. It's not making me feel like, I feel like every day when I leave that my kids that I see, and I see between 20-25 kids a day, that I'm making a difference. I have kids. I'm hard on my kids. I'm hard on my students at work. I'm very hard on my students at work. I'm hard on them because if I'm not hard on them, then they don't know how to read. And I didn't do my job, one. But two, when they go out in the world and say, trying to read the word the, you can't read the word the. In the third grade. Um, I'm hard on them because I want to push them to be greater. I'm hard on them like I'm hard on my kids. And so, but I love what I do. I love seeing the inspiration. I love that I have an autistic kid that's kind of like he's kind of deaf in one ear or whatever. That before, and he's in first grade. Before when I got him, he didn't know how to read nothing. He's reading full sentences and full passages now. He's my testimony kid. I love. Everybody knows he's my favorite kid, but Kane is my favorite kid. I love that I can do that for him because there's so many more like him. Doesn't matter if you special needs, disability. It's a lot of kids I don't have. I have that's not autistic and disability. Most of my kids have something, but that's not the specialty of it. It's just if they not on the reading level they need to be on, then that's who I help. And some of them lower than what they need to be or whatever, but I'm there. But I love what I do. I honestly do. Now, over the summer, I'll be looking for, my job ends in the summertime, and then I go back in September. I'll be looking for another job, and hopefully I can go back where the job that I'm looking for in the summertime is not more permanent than this job because I actually love what I do. But financially, it might be a time for a change. Don't know. That's why I'm doing this interview today. Um, But with all that being said, sometimes your peace that you need may be you. You may be needing you. Okay. And I'm also in the midst of teaching my kids to take the peace, both of my kids, 7 and 17, to take the time that you need. Catering a young lady, she's 7, that, teaching her how to have self confidence, building her confidence as a young woman, not to listen to friends and family, not to listen to, if she knows something is wrong. I'm instilling that in her now. I'm instilling her and God in her now, that she makes the right decisions as a kid, even as a kid. I'm instilling my son to have the confidence that, okay, you can do this when you go out into the world. We bumping heads right now. We're having a hard time right now. Me and my son is having a hard time, but it will be a testimony, because he wants to do a lot of things, which I commend himself. But doing a lot of things yourself and not asking for help is different than asking for help and doing a lot of things yourself. It's two different things. You can ask for help and still do it yourself, then not ask for help, but then I'm finding out you bumping your head like, because I thought, let's ask for the help. That's the problem. Being too independent, I learned that at a young age, that I'm 41 now. I thought being independent was great. I love that I'm self-sufficient. I love that he's becoming self-sufficient. But I also need him to understand that if you don't know something, just figure it out. Try to figure it out first. Then if you don't know it, then come and ask. His more like, I don't know, and I'm not going to ask nobody, oh well. It's like, and then I'll find out like, you could have just simply asked me, and I could have actually told you that that wasn't going to work out that way. So we're bumping heads, and I am my mom, and if I know that's my baby or whatever. But this is something that I also am working with, that God is working on with me, control. That sometimes I have to loosen the control. Just because I have OCD doesn't mean that I have to have control on everything, and that I have to loosen the reins and the control and let him make his own mistakes. That's hard for me. And I'm being truthful about that. I can't watch people just make it. I'm like that with my spouses. I'm like that with my relationships and my friendships. I'd rather just help you than you make the mistake. But some people do have to make their own mistakes to learn or whatever. I think most of my mistakes that I made is because someone did tell me. Because most of the mistakes I didn't make, I watched. I was young watching, like, not doing that, not doing that. That's why I saved my virginity so long, and I didn't have a baby until late, and all this other stuff. Because I watched people, and it was like, ooh, not doing that, not doing that, not doing that. Nope, nope, nope. I was like taking inventory at like 12, 13. Looking at friends, family, and I was like, don't. That's not the way I'm gonna go. But everybody's not like that, and everybody don't think like that, and everybody doesn't have that mindset. So you can't just judge somebody because they want to make the mistakes. Let them make a mistake. Um, I want him to understand that I'm not always going to be here, though. If you didn't ask, that just because you make a mistake, I'm not going to always be your file guy to say my mama will help me figure it out if I make the mistake. How about you just ask first, and then make the decision? Might still go against the decision that I want. That's what we're dealing with right now. But at least you took the chance to even ask. Then come back to me after the mistake was made. It's hard being a parent of a teenager, a child. It's hard being a parent altogether. It's also helping me understand my mom a little bit more. Me and my mother didn't have a great relationship growing up. We still don't have one, but it's okay. Um, it's hard being a parent. And I understand my mother had 6, and I don't still to this day see how she did it with 6, because she did the best that she could. Um, one thing I do love is she instilled God in us, that we always put God first, and that at a certain age, and I remember because that's my son is 17 now. She had to let us go and give us the God and let us make our own decisions and say, I did what I had to do. And not saying let us go totally, but saying, okay, they're at that age where they got to be independent, and it's so hard for me to do that for my son, but I got to, because he got to grow up just as well. I'm grown, but I got to grow up to letting him make his mistakes, have those challenges, have those um, breaks, has those mental breaks, and say, okay, where do I go from here? Tomorrow is not promised to none of us, and so I do want to be here for both of my kids, to see them get married, to have grandkids. I do, and that's my desire. But if God wouldn't have me to do that, I just want to make sure that I cater to my children enough to know what not to do and what to do and who they can run to. Because if you can't run to me, you always gonna run to God. He's always gonna be there. And I promise you, he got a better answer than I do. With that being said, I thank you for this podcast. I thank you for listening. I hope you understand what I'm trying to do in this next month. I will be back on next week. I love you. I love you guys for always listening. I love you guys for just being a support. I'm trying to get my viewership up. That's another reason why I'm pausing, because the viewership is not where it needs to be. So if you could like, share, and subscribe, it's to many people. I don't care if it's an old podcast. I don't care if it's a new podcast. Share it, please. With that being said, I love you guys, and I will see you back next week.